Okay, we are in, and my name's Angelica Corral. I'm with What in the World Events, and this podcast is What in the World Do You Do? And today we have a special guest, a great friend of mine, and a talent, and a very, I call him a genius because he knows how to motivate and help people move forward and grow. But he's also a singer. But we're going to talk about embracing wellness. But before that, we're going to go over to my friend Mike Cawthorne. Is it Cawthorne or Cawthorne?
Catherine.
Cawthorne.
Yeah, yeah,
Cawthorne.
Catherine.
Okay, Mike
Yeah, that was
Cawthorne.
close. Yeah.
Let's talk
I've,
a little
I've
bit
only
about
I've only
you, my
known you for
friend.
9 years, Angelica. That's okay.
I know it's been 4 years. That's what I feel like. So let's hear a little bit about you.
Well, this is short long version. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and two passions of my life: helping people in music, and they played out in different ways throughout this journey. From starting out at Warner Brothers doing voiceovers and TV spots, then moving to gym life, being a trainer, then running gyms, and then music taking over again when I moved out to California and doing shows, writing, recording for myself and other artists in Europe. And then when I got back to California, that desire to get back and serve the underserved took over. So now, for the better part of a decade, been serving the underserved, but well deserved, in the form of, like, school districts and also large nonprofit organizations such as Head Start and wellness and overall well being. So it's been quite a journey, and I'm excited for what lies next.
And I love what you're doing because it's really helping everyone that comes into contact with you. They're really I see the difference with the employees over at Head Start and Neighborhood House.
That means a
And
lot. People assume that but you don't unless they tell you. So yeah, thank you for iterating that. Because I wonder sometimes about the impact. You'll hear, like, sometimes the moaning and groaning about the love that gets poured into them. But I think a lot of times we assume that people know how we feel,
mhm.
but they don't. So thank you for saying that.
No, of course. Of course. I'm telling you, I've seen a difference. I've seen a big difference. And I think if you weren't there doing those trainings for a lot of our staff, they wouldn't even try to work out. So just having you there, having the gym there, and having other friends there
Yeah,
to be accountability buddies, and they tell you, "Hey, are you working out?"
yeah, yeah.
It
It,
all helps.
it
It's
really
all
does. It
really
really is. And we
yeah.
definitely have become a family over the years. And when people realize, how much community plays into it, and how much we affect each other, with our attitude and energy and our choices, it really makes a difference. Like the morale, I'm seeing you sure, like, went up big time, like pre-COVID, and we're getting back to that. But it really is a community of unity, through fitness. So the exercise is just like one part of it. It's a real self-love practice. It's about family. It's
Mhm.
about community. It's about support and unconditional love.
Absolutely. And I think, like what you said, when you have that love and you show it all the time in the class, like when we're working out and you tell us you're doing a good job. We hear that and it encourages us. So all of that makes a big difference in our motivation to continue in our workouts. So
I tell you what, Angelica, like the my intention when I come in, more than anything else, is for you guys to feel unconditionally loved. That's the intention, is like nothing else. First and foremost is for you guys to feel loved up on and seen and supported. And then that just comes through the form of exercise, but that's number one, to know that you have somebody that's rooting for you, your well-being and your overall life, and the exercise is just a part of that, so I hope that you feel that energy when you're in the room.
I do. I do. And we have a few people in the room, some of my friends. I see Christy's here and she says hello. I see
Yeah.
Temitope, uh,
Hey, all right.
and Lisa Fevic, my friend from um, Trinidad. I hope I got
Welcome,
that right,
welcome.
or I'm in trouble. Good to see you, Lisa. And Lisa's also into holistic wellness. So this
Beautiful.
is a perfect room for her to be in. So good to see you. And Deidre, she's also very much into um, health, into environmental health in around the world. And she's all
Wonderful.
the way in New Zealand watching us right now.
Wow. Awesome.
She
Awesome.
says, lovely to see you. So good to see you too, Deidre.
Wonderful.
Okay, awesome. So then I'm gonna start with my questions here because I want us to get you have so much knowledge. I wanted you to define what is holistic well-being and how has your understanding of it evolved? What would you say holistic well-being is?
Holistic well-being for me is a combination of well-being of the mind, the body, and the spirit. And it can be an overused term, but a healthy mind affects a healthy body. Your thought processes, your awareness, your consciousness, your body. Being a source, a light to express your unique form and energy. When I think about exercise, I don't think about it in vanity terms. I think
Mhm,
about your physical health. You want to be just as healthy as you need to be to express your light and to, be true to the purposes on this earth. If you're in pain, if you can't move around, it's harder to shine your light. And so when people start to look at their health and well-being on a physical standpoint, more so about like them being able to express and be their highest good, be their highest self, and to
mhm,
live their purpose, to me it has a deeper meaning,
mhm.
rather than trying to just lose a few pounds or the vanity stuff, but I'll meet people where they're at, if that's their initial motivation, but
Uh-huh.
hopefully I can plant those seeds and dig into the bigger purpose, what it's really about, and your spirit, your energy that you have on a day-to-day basis. We don't realize how much we affect each other by the vibration that we hold, that we bring into each day and each moment. And now more than ever, during these sometimes chaotic times, people feel more anxiety or unease, but they don't realize they feel like that because of the unease around them. When a bunch of people around you feel uneasy, you
Mhm.
start to feel uneasy, but, we're not all conscious of our own attitude, our own energy, and how that affects others,
Yes.
so the mind, body, spirit, nourishment, and having practices to, maximize each one of those is so important because they affect each other. A healthy body when you exercise affects your brain function and the amount of energy you have, your mind, your nervous system, your self-esteem. On the other
Mhm.
end, your thought processes also affect your body and you being susceptible to illness because stress is really the number one killer on this earth, so it really is a byproduct of each other. And, and people are more tapping into how their energy and their light and their vibration, really impacts their overall well-being and their well-being of others.
I agree with you. If you're not feeling good, you can't really be as successful as you want to be. Let's say you're presenting and you want to give that good energy, but if you're not feeling that good, people could see that, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, a lot of times we give more cadence to the negative sometimes than the positive, but we all have had situations where we've been in a room and somebody has such maybe a nasty energy or in such a bad space, and it really affects everybody in the room,
It
you know.
does.
But we don't really take heed to it, like, how it makes others uncomfortable, and also
Uh-huh.
don't take heed to how, like, our own energy, affects each other, and
Mm,
it's really no, like, median point. It's like either you're making yourself and everybody else a little bit better
mhm.
or a little bit worse. you know
I hope I'm making them better. I know that you are.
Absolutely. I've known you for quite a while. You're always, no matter what you have going on, consistently, like, positive, and I'm very sensitive to people's energy. No matter
Mhm,
what's come out their mouth, I can kind of feel where they're
mhm,
coming from. And
mhm.
you've always been a light. Like, your heart is pure and good, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Michael. What am I saying? I saw Michael's name there. No, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, Michael's good. I mean, that's
Michael's
my
good?
guy name. It work. I know everybody that knows, that know me. They call me Big Mike, but that's what my dad
That
named
this
me,
is Big
Michael.
Mike, everybody, and he's a you're also a speaker. There's also somebody in the room, let's see, we have more people that have come to the room, and, let's see, Michael Bawesega. Habarigani, Michael. He's in London, and he's going to be coming over here to Victorville to live soon. So maybe we can all get together and meet him one day, right, Mike?
Yeah, no doubt. It's all love. We are truly a human family. More so now than any time in human history. So.
Cooper Gates says, "Can you maintain muscle like that with low protein consumption and or intermittent fasting?" And Deidre says, "Pure and good heart is true." Sending big healing and energy to Joshua too. So we got some positive people in the room.
Yeah, that's beautiful, beautiful. Quick,
So
quick
you were
answer.
so you were mentioning about answering Cooper's question about the muscle.
Yeah, so I think people misunderstand how much protein you do. So I'll start with the athlete version. If you're a professional athlete, you want to have 1 gram of protein for with your ideal body weight. So say your ideal body weight is 180 pounds, you want to shoot for 180 grams of protein a day. But if you can get to 75 to 85% of that, you're in good hands. Intermittent fasting does not actually take away from necessarily the amount of muscle that you build, except that that's probably less times during the day that you're going to be taking in, and that's where supplements, if necessary, come in. A lot of the protein these days are a lot better synthesized than they were years ago, whether you do a whey or a pea protein. So if a good way to get it in is to supplement through those, and just pay attention to your body. But as long as you're consistent along with weight training, and everybody's body's different. That's what we don't realize. Everybody's genetics are a little bit different. So it's really like playing around with the puzzle for yourself. I don't know what your goals are for yourself, but you can get a lot further than you think, but you do want to be aware of your protein consumption, but it's not the end all be all of your success. Hopefully that's helpful.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for answering that. Okay, so can you share a pivotal moment in your personal life where you that led to a significant transformation in your approach to wellness?
There's probably several, different chapters in life, the natural progression. I'll tell you this. I grew up playing sports. I grew up in a Christian household. Um, One of the most impactful things I remember hearing as a kid that stuck with me, my parents, even though they grew up in a Baptist church together, they
Mhm.
told me that your relationship with God has to be real for you. And that gave me the freedom, to explore it for myself. So as a kid, I would be in church and I would be like, some of this feels good, but some of this don't is not doesn't really feel right. So, my parents that, those are the ones you trust, them giving me the freedom to say like that, you got to find it, figure it out for yourself was super helpful. So, what naturally happened with my desire to know the truth,
Uh-huh.
as a young man, I started finding my own teachers and through meditation, my direct contact with our source, whether you call it God, love, energy, God, whatever, to get answers like divine downloads on what's true or not. And it's really been a gradual process over the
Mhm.
years. I can't say there's been like one poignant moment. I feel like, it's just been a natural evolution,
Mhm.
and, different catalysts for the growth is like, when you have various challenges throughout your life, like more times where you may not know, how you're going to make your ends meet or how you're going to survive and certain struggles and challenges in life. It really makes you dive deeper into yourself, and it's a test of faith. And when things work out of no way, which have happened several times in my life, your faith deepens, and you have to become a larger version of yourself by necessity. So every time I've taken a leap of faith, I love music. I'm very much an extrovert and introvert. So God has a sense of humor. So I like to hide and observe people and be in my
Mhm.
little pocket and have meaningful conversations with, a small group of people. But my
Mhm.
purposes on this earth don't allow me to hide. So within that, stepping on the stage for the first time to perform even in front of a few hundred people, much less a few thousand, I had to find ways to get out of my own way. That was a
Yeah.
leap of faith, and I had to find courage and, like, okay, if there's anybody out here that might be blessed by my energy or presence that comes through me, who am I not to show up? And I use that to this day with everything I do, whether I'm speaking in front of a large group, whether I'm performing in everything I do. So I think probably the first time I had a larger performance was one of those times when I started a business. Um,
Mhm.
and I didn't know if the two things I chose, there's no guarantees, right? You don't get a degree and you're guaranteed to have a successful business. You don't get a degree and you're guaranteed to have success in music or entertainment. So that has been, I think that's why it's been gradual, because the things I love require so much a faith walk,
Mhm.
and a true trust and a true being guidance.
Mhm.
Throughout that journey, the challenges of having my own business have led to many pivotal moments, and every time my business has had to grow, there's required a different version of myself to be there, So it's really been a process of need. But what I've learned is the more you're proactive about your growth, the less sometimes the universe throws things at you to
Mhm.
make you grow.
Mhm.
And when things do come up, you're more prepared, so you don't take as much of a hit. So it's like either you're growing on purpose, or the universe will give you catalysts to grow on a regular basis. And I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Yes. That's awesome. Um, I wanted to ask as well, and I think you mentioned it already. On how do you see the connection between physical health and mental well-being? And I know you talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, so they really are one and the same. You can't have one without the other. Like I said, the movement of your physical body literally affects your brain functioning, your energy, your posture literally changes how you feel. Like the fetus,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
oh, okay, I'm okay. And also how you affect and how other people look at you. And that's just shoulders back, shoulders slump. It
Mhm,
actually affects how you feel. And then on the other end, we have there's some people say 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Obviously we're not conscious of all of them,
uh-huh.
but many would say that most of them are like default and a lot of them are negative. So when you become more consciously aware of your thoughts and how they affect your nervous system, like if your default is negative, then words fulfilling prophecy. It affects how you feel inside your nervous system. So there's immediately a body effect. On
Mhm.
top of that, if you're stressed out, that breaks down your immune system, which causes you to be sick. So you really can't leave the nourishment of either one out. A healthy mind leads to a healthy body. A healthy body leads to a healthy mind.
And I agree because ever since I've been back to working out, hey everybody, I'm back to working out. Announcement, breaking news. I'm back to working out, but you know, I have been watching what I eat. I am eating healthier now. And that's part of it, right? The part of the mental well-being is because you're thinking, "Hey, I'm working out because I want to be healthy, so I need to eat healthy too," right?
Yeah,
And
it's interesting how those go hand in hand. A lot of times when people are doing one thing right, it's easier to do the other things right. But it's also like one thing falls off. For a lot of folks over the years that I've dealt with, the hundreds of folks, everything falls off. But when you treating your body, it really is all about a self love practice.
mhm,
Like when you value this temple that we're in,
mhm.
by default of you taking the time to exercise, right?
Yeah.
And that's a self-love practice. So you feel better about yourself immediately, which is a catalyst for you having the energy to do the next right thing, which is putting something in your body temple that will probably nourish it rather than take away from its health,
Mhm.
compared to if you just stumbled out of bed, oh, time to make the donuts or whatever. I'm not feeling real good. I'm not exercising today. All right, well, now let me go ahead and have this comfort food because I should be exercising, but I'm not. So, F it. Let me just go and grab whatever, from the store. And now I got less of energy. And it's like this whole cycle. But energy begets energy in all ways, you
Yes.
know. And so that intention and that action, of doing good by you tends to lead to you having a desire to make better choices.
Yes, and you feel better when you make those
Absolutely.
better choices.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I we have a few messages here. Bro Charlie Lewis says, "Stay ready. You won't need to get ready."
Mm. That's always true. That's always true.
And L.A. Morajon says, "Good day." Uh, Bro Charlie says, "Fact, balance the inner equilibrium." And he says,
Absolutely.
"Love you some you."
Yeah, yeah, that is. It is. Yeah.
I love
Self-love.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
she says, "Energy begets energy." And
Yes.
then Bro Charlie Lewis says, "Stop telling the truth. It hurts."
it's sometimes the truth that love hurt. That's when love hurts, right? Because the truth hurts sometimes, but it's all love. It's all love deeply and centered. I have to have tough love conversations with myself on a regular basis. I tell you, when I was thinking about, I really thought I loved myself because I like myself.
Mhm.
But then when
Mhm.
I did a deeper dive on how hard I am on myself and my conditioning, being a black man from St. Louis, a Midwest guy, and what that means, and the discipline and being tough on yourself. And then one day I was running early in the morning, and that's when I get
Mhm.
my spiritual nourishment in. That's when the consciousness is quiet. And
Mhm.
it just came to me that I needed to start to at least to attempt to love myself like my mom loves me,
Mhm.
and that's so foreign to me to be tender to myself,
Mhm.
like as a man, like what? Be tender, to yourself.
Mhm.
But it made me realize like, wow, do you really love yourself? But it's a tough fact to face, but absolutely true. I think we're all on this journey just finding more and better ways to get out of our own way,
Mhm.
and love is the absolute key to everything. Love wins at the end.
Absolutely. It's the most important thing. That's how I feel about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and that's why you always show it, my friend.
I do my best. It's always a work in process. But what I found in my meditation is like unconditional love and non-judgment is the only safe space to operate from. And I have not mastered it, but I do my best to practice it.
And you talked a little bit about your daily self-care because you run in the morning, right?
Yep. So I go through seasons, and some seasons I wake up at 4 a.m. because sometimes there's a where I get start getting texts and stuff at like 6.
Mhm.
So that 2 hours is my time of peace, and I swear like the consciousness is quiet during that time. So
Mhm.
it's easier for me to tap in to source and to a deep peace that's beyond what I can explain. And so, like, I feel like I'm getting ahead of the day. That anything I do in that time is a bonus, because I'm not even supposed to be up yet. So it's a little mind trick with me. So I get in a little bit of exercise. I get in some meditation, depending on what I feel like my spirit is calling for,
Uh-huh.
dictates like the type of meditation, the spiritual nourishment I'll get in through reading or audible, um, and then I get into the day a couple hours after that.
Nice, nice. So that's how you incorporate that into your daily routine. Awesome. We have a few more messages. Um, Charlie says it's a bro. Charlie says it's okay not to be okay. And Michael says, "Hi, MC. In your opinion, what is your most important asset as a human being?"
That's a great question. Um, I would say my ability to love, um, and knowing who I am more and more, so I can express myself the unique ways that I'm supposed to while I'm here. So I'm thankful as I get a deeper and deeper awareness of who Michael is that allows me to be myself, because at the end of the day, I feel like we all have unique talents and gifts that we're supposed to share.
Hmm.
So one of my biggest assets is deeper levels of self-awareness so I can share those gifts. And beyond all that, it being aware that it's love in action. No matter what I'm doing, being intentional about it being love in action, whether it's music, love in action, whether it's health and wellness, love in action, whether it's speaking, love in action, whether it's being at the grocery store, with little love in action.
That's amazing. And I totally agree. It all starts with us, and we can make a difference just by showing love in action. And you see it when you show it because you see how it affects other people,
Absolutely.
right? People light up. And sometimes I go into the Head Start classrooms with the kids, and when I go into the classrooms, go down to the children's level, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And all of a sudden, you see the kid; they feel the love.
Mhm.
Their faces light up, and that's because that I'm taking an action, right? We take an
Absolutely.
action just by communicating. So,
Absolutely. I think that's one of the main things that, like, we're working with teachers all these years, is for them to start understanding how much their energy affects these kids and how much these kids are sponges,
mhm,
more so of their energy no matter what they say,
yes,
and they'll reflect right back to them what they are. That's one of the beauties of children. They always keep it real,
they
you
do.
know, and if they seem troublesome, a lot of times it ain't about them, it's about you.
Yes,
And at the same thing, they they respond to love, like we all do. But some of us have more layers to break through, to, accept and receive love and be able to recognize it. But
Mhm.
it's more of that challenge for us to be brighter lights, so it's undeniable, right?
Yes, yes. And like you said, with the children, they know the real thing. They
Absolutely.
you can't fake the funk with the children.
No, they know if you care.
'Cause
They know if you care, and then they'll let you know if
Yeah,
you need to get your together, and then the way that they express it in different ways, whether it's acting up or just telling you.
yeah, yeah. So that's funny. So we have a few more comments, and Bro Charlie says we must display the material we teach, and then he said affirmations, and that those are good to have too. All right.
Absolutely.
Bro Charlie says coexisting, and then he says I'm enjoying myself. Well, we're enjoying you too.
That's awesome.
And Chiesa says self love, self knowledge, self awareness are superpowers that impact our way of being in the world.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And Romy, he's just clapping. Uh, Christy says love multiplies.
Yes.
And Michael, he says, MC, there are two hearts in the body. Where do you think the second heart resides?
Mm.
That's a riddle.
Yeah. Two hearts in the body.
Uh,
Mm. So yeah, I don't know. Like I know, so there's your actual physical heart, right?
mhm,
And how do you explain, like so your heart has functioning, right? But
mhm,
then there's your heart, your spirit, right? The energy you portray, you know. For me, when I think of heart, I'm not usually thinking about the blood pumping, the actual organ.
mhm,
I'm thinking
mhm.
about the energy, like about the love and spirit, So um, I'm not sure if that's the answer, but I'm curious to know. Let us know, Michael. You know,
Let us know, Michael. Inquiring minds here want to know. And he says, um, Bro Charlie says containers or strainer. And he says facts. And then Michael says, how many eggs is that? 1 gram? I don't know. You got us figuring out the mathematic of the eggs, Michael. Romy Empa says, in order to teach them, you must put yourself to their level. And that's true.
hmm yeah.
Children, if you're teaching children,
You have to
they
meet them
want,
where they're at.
mhm. Oh, Bro Charlie says that the other heart is in the stomach. And L.A. Morijon says that it's in the intestine. So,
mm.
so I guess, Michael, let's see what you have to say. So this is awesome. So, I know that you have your business, and as a small business owner, how have you integrated wellness practices? I know you've done it with us at Neighborhood House Association and with Head Start.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you integrate those wellness practices in your culture? I know you do the workouts with us.
Mhm.
Maybe you could talk about a lot of other things that I know some of the other things that you do is encourage me and everybody else to keep going, and you tell us that we're doing okay, we're doing good. So what other ways can you think of that you integrate wellness practices in that?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a multi-layered question.
Yeah.
So, in the actual uh, baseline, obviously we do more than the exercise. We do guided meditation. We do, attitude of gratitude, certain practices and life hacks, that I give to people throughout the years. There's Launch, the life transformation program that I've taken my employees through and some staff at NHA. When it comes to my business when I started when it was just me serving 36 preschool teachers at three different school districts. When I had to hire my first employee, at that point, I became more self aware of like what was that secret sauce of why I was successful. And
Mhm.
I realized that, the exercise, was just a part of it, that it was really the loving up on people, really caring about people, having the skills to impact every area of their life. So when I started hiring employees, I had to pour into them of like, number one, you have to care about people. Number two, you have to be constantly working on your personal growth. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite because, I call them life transformers. So I started taking my employees through a six week program for them to actually become a life transformer, which means that at least on a foundational level, no matter who we're serving, they could give that person tools to improve their life, on a foundational level. So that's how I incorporate it, and other than that, just intention and guidance, from source of what I'm at the end of the day, as simple as it sounds, like, I obviously have boxes to check and places I have to be and things of that nature, but I allow myself to be guided, within that. Like, God, what do you have for me to do today? And allow that to guide my way, and with an intention of, I let love guide my way, I let love rule the day. That's where I start, and I allow the the new day to be a fresh canvas,
Mhm. Mhm.
and allow the wonder and like the childlike wonder to set in. So, it's not even really a business to me, it's a ministry. Um, because nowhere in my head did I ever like get off on the idea of like being a boss. Like being somebody's boss is not that's not appealing to me, It's
Mhm.
just like in order to serve more people, I need people on my team for us to, reach a larger segment of the population. Um, so that's my approach.
I love it. I love it. Wow, we're getting so many comments. Nombe Nombe says, achieving harmony among mind and spirit is the key to living a balanced and fulfilling life, as each aspect contributes to our overall well-being and
Yes,
happiness.
absolutely.
And
Beautiful.
Michael says, Big Mike, you are an ambivert. I think that's an introvert and an extrovert. That's my
Okay.
guess.
That
He's
makes
very
sense.
he's very observant, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That
Uh,
makes sense. Yeah,
oh, here he goes. He's explaining it here. He says an ambivert is a person whose personality blends traits of both extroversion and introversion.
mm, well, there you go.
Ambiverts are adaptable, comfortable in social settings, and equally content spending time alone.
That is right on point. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's absolutely accurate, Michael. Thank you. That
Uh,
is that's spot on.
they
That is
can be,
spot on.
he says, their behavior often shifts depending on the context or environment. For example, they enjoy attending social gatherings, but also value downtime to recharge. They can be outgoing and talkative in certain situations, but introspective and reserved in others. This balanced personality. Well, I guess that's it there. And
Yeah,
then,
well, I would say that's absolutely accurate. I really enjoy, like, for my well being, for me to feel stable, I have to have a good amount of alone time. And it any type of interaction on a larger scale for me has to be purposeful.
mhm,
Like I don't like being in crowds or like large groups for like no reason and or like being the center of attention by any means, like glad handed pin. That's look at me. That's never been. I'd rather just watch people,
mhm, mhm,
and the only thing I desire is for people to feel better because I'm around, So extending myself or my energy is for everybody to feel welcome,
Mhm.
feel seen and loved, So that helps me to get out of my own way when I'm in social environments, and frankly, definitely
Mhm.
sometimes, can feel shy, which might be hard to believe, but absolutely true.
I can understand that because I used to be really shy, and sometimes I get back into my shy mode, so I believe it, I believe it.
Yeah,
So, this has been such an interesting conversation, I'm really enjoying this, my friend.
right on.
So, what are some unexpected ways that improving physical health has impacted other areas of your life? Or maybe some of your clients' lives?
Well, I think having people like I grew up playing sports, so I didn't. It was like more the reverse. I didn't know anything different until I stopped,
Mhm,
and then I realized how much I was not myself if I was not consistent in my exercise processes for me. It's me just feeling like me. So
mhm,
a better example would be like a lot of like some of the preschool teachers that I work with, had never exercised a day in their life,
mhm,
and it was four or fivefold. One, their self esteem, not from vanity, but just more confidence from them becoming stronger.
yes,
For a lot of the women, this was the only thing they were doing for themselves. So it was like them starting to really love themselves and start to value
mhm,
themselves.
yes,
Um, and I saw their energy going up, uh, people getting off of medications,
yes,
people who had terrible anxiety, that being relieved, um, and them being a better version of themselves for their families and the kids that they serve. I saw all those things happen firsthand,
mhm.
several times over. Super powerful.
I've seen it too. So so how do you help people overcome barriers
How do
to
people get out of
maintaining.
their own way?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends on what it is. Um, I One thing I utilize is, you know, you have to find like why. Like there has to be a good enough why of why you do something, and the best whys are usually something that's bigger than yourself,
Yes.
So, if I'm just showing up for myself to exercise or to any kind of new habit that's good, that might not be enough. But can you do it for your daughter? Can you do it for your mom? Like, and that helps, like when they have a bigger purpose, within that, it helps break through a lot of barriers, because it's like that for me, like if it's just about me, I'm not doing it. I'm very a team oriented person. Like it's not enough motivation.
Mhm,
I'm not really vanity driven, you
mhm,
know.
mhm.
Um, and so like if there's not a bigger purpose, there's a
Yes.
lot of things that I won't show up for myself, but I'll show up for other people, and so that's been hugely helpful. And then also I break things down to like dummy proof, where it's like, okay, all right, trying to break through the inertia. Okay, well, people think about say exercising. Well, I got to buy an outfit, and then I got to travel 20 minutes to the gym, and then I got to be at the gym for this whatever amount of time. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You know, you can get out of bed if you do one squat. Technically, you've exercised for that day. So you break down the things that they want to do. I can't sit and meditate for 20 minutes. I don't want you to start with that. Can you meditate for 30 seconds? So you make everything, you break it down to the most minuscule level where your head can talk you out of it.
Mhm,
And then you start there and build up. Because a lot of times if you, all right, I'm a workout for 1 minute, that 1 minute turns into 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes. Oh, I can meditate for 30 seconds. That's 30 seconds might turn into 2 minutes, and it
Yes.
goes. So those are two um, things that have been, highly successful, when I worked with people. But obviously, it depends on what it is and what they're approaching me with. But those are just general things that tend to work.
I agree with you on when you do it for other people too, because I'm a grandma now.
Oh, congratulations.
So I'm like, I have to be healthy so that I could read to this little bugger.
You're damn
And
right. That's awesome. I didn't know that. Congratulations. That's
thank,
amazing.
thank you, thank you. So, that's part of the reason that I got inspired to come
Get back
start
on it, huh?
working
I
out
love it.
again. Yeah, because
Thank you for telling me.
yeah, yeah. So it's true. It's true. We can find reasons because there's so many, right?
Absolutely.
But that's that's one of the big ones. So there's some people that might feel overwhelmed when they hear the transformation journey. What
Mhm.
how do you break it down to them so that they don't feel like they're overwhelmed?
So you break it down into like micro steps. It depends on where you meet somebody, where they're at, right?
Uh-huh.
That's
Uh,
the important thing. Meet them where they're at.
uh,
So, for instance, if it comes to nutrition, like if somebody is just starting out, say they eat completely terrible, they eat all these things, you're not going to be breaking down uh, grams of protein and macros and micros. You're going to start with like, okay, how many meals are you eating? Can you eat one less? You eat ice cream. All right, let's cut that out.
mhm,
2 days a week. You
mhm,
make it simple.
mhm,
You just make everything. You meet them where they're at, and you give them baby steps so they can feel successful. You want to build on success, and it's really individual. Like I literally helping hundreds of people at this point.
mhm,
It's amazing how so many things are the same of us all needing to get out of our own ways in certain ways,
mhm,
but also, it is unique to the person, and also the approach, in that. But it's mainly meeting people where they're at, and you making it, easy for them to find success in things, and then also acknowledging that success, because that acknowledgement of success wants you to want to continue to be successful, and you set up a little success checklist. I like to write things down, so I encourage people not just have it in their phone, but actually write down. And then, checking those boxes feels good, and then the energy begets the energy, and you start to gain momentum, and then
mhm.
all of a sudden you're well on your way. And it doesn't matter where you start; it's just to start, and just really being patient and taking the time to really understand where people are. There's always a journey and a pathway to the light.
I like doing that too on the calendar, checking off the days that I did it.
Yeah,
And then there's the meal plan when we write down what we ate, right? That's
yeah,
another way
that's
that
that's powerful.
you keep track of that, and it's it's, uh, it's good to measure yourself to see how you're doing with your goals, right? So
Absolutely. You can measure the quality of your life. You can see very clearly, if like you have say certain things that on your little checklist, say drink a certain amount of water, say
uh,
meditate, say exercise, say, do something fun for myself. So say you just have those four things Monday through Friday. If you do those things consistently, or you don't, at that end of that week and the end of that month, it's going to be very clear and evident, why you're closer to where you want to be, why your happiness quotient went up, stayed the
mhm,
same, or went down. I like, it's so simple, but it's such a simple, profound practice to have that evidence based, checklist, and it's not recreating a wheel. If you do certain things foundationally, basically since the beginning of time,
mhm.
consistently, you're going to feel better. and if you don't, then you won't.
Absolutely. Well, I've had such a good time that I lost track of time. You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, right on.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to see before we end today if you have any message that you want to convey, and also how people can get a hold of you if they need to get a hold of you, or if you want them to follow you on LinkedIn or wherever you're at on Facebook or
Well, you know me, Angelica.
Instagram.
I like to stay incognito, which is kind of. But
You're busy, that's why.
yeah, anybody wants to reach me, you can reach me at mike@mikesfitfamily.com, and I'll get you that email. I guess what I like to say, whoever may see this now or at a later time, is that I don't have to know you to send love to you, to love you, and to be rooting for your highest and your best in life. So if for some reason you feel like that there's nobody out there that really cares about your well-being, know that that's not the truth, and that your life matters, that you have a mighty purpose on this earth, that you are one of one out of almost 8 billion people, and that makes you so special. And there's going to be so many people that'll be happy that you held on, and that you kept pushing forward, and know that you are loved. That's it.
I love it. I love it. We're just lovey-dovey people up in here.
Love wins.
It does, and
Love
I
wins.
believe it's the most important thing. I think it's the most important thing. Let's see. So with that, we're gonna close the room, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who came today to get to meet, and especially my guest here, Mike. And I hope we can do a part two. Maybe we could do even an example a day of, right? Uh, we'll talk about it, but
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
we'll talk about it. But
All right.
we love you all, and we hope to see you again soon.
All
So we're
right.
going to end by saying good night and mwah.
That's love.
Bye.